My name is Melissa. I'm one of the few who helped organise the protest today. We've been organising protests since last year when we made Feline Guardians UK, and today we're just trying to build awareness so we can get more people to join our cause. You know, we used to protest outside of the Chinese embassy to put pressure on them to see if they could just help us in any way about this issue. But we thought if we would come here where there's lots more people, then if we get more people for our cause, then we can go back to the embassy and have more people to put more pressure on them. When somebody told me that this was happening last year, I didn't believe it, and I didn't want to believe it. And the only reason I saw how bad it, because obviously you're not one of these people, so it's kind of hard for you to imagine what exactly is happening. So if somebody tells you that this thing happened to an innocent animal, then you're going to rationalize it in your head and think, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad, maybe they died first. But no, I've seen the videos, I had to see for myself what was really happening, and I think that it's the same for other people. They can't ignore what's truly happening, because normal people would try to come up with something that's not so bad and then try to ignore it because it's horrible. You want to ignore it, but you can't, because they can't help themselves, so we have to help them. The problem is, obviously this has started in China, but it's spreading all over the world. There are protests happening all over the world, mostly in the US. What we want is to build awareness against this, because actually there was an incident this year in the UK where 2 teenagers were arrested for copying videos that they saw online. They had caught these 2 kittens and they tortured them to death. So we're trying to raise awareness in the UK because it's happening now in the UK. We have a website which is called Feline Guardians Without Borders. It's on here. And there are lots of petitions that you can sign, and there's a lot more information about the abusers and about what exactly is happening and what's being done in other places. I mean, since this cause has come about, they've banned dog meat in places like South Korea. The main problem is that there aren't any laws in China to prevent this. So the people who do this, we know who they are. If you go onto this website, there are the pictures, the faces of the people who do this, because they proudly post themselves online, but we cannot do anything about it because it's completely legal in China. And there are also these horrible festivals like the Yulin Festival, where they boil and fry dogs and cats alive, and that's their festival because they believe that a tortured animal tastes better. Obviously it seems like a stereotype that they would do that, but it's the truth, and that's what's happening, and all of the information you can find is on this website. And we're hoping that if we put pressure on the Chinese embassies all over the world, then we can put pressure on China to enact animal safety laws. It's really their concern, even if they're not for the animals here, the concern is that these people who torture these innocent animals, they often get bored and they move on to people too. There are many evidence and instances of people who torture animals and eventually move on to humans. So their own people, their own children are at risk here if they don't do something about this. Please follow us on Feline Guardians UK. It's an Instagram account, and we share lots of information and updates about what's happening in China. You can find us on Facebook, X, and on our website here is the most information you're going to find out about this. So yeah, you can just scan the QR code here and it will take you straight to the website.